All right, this lesson is 8.f, which stands for functions, and we're going to talk about functions and slope. Okay? We know that functions, for every input, there's only one output. So let's talk about vocabulary right quick. Let's talk about the intercepts. Well, what's a y and an x-intercept? Okay? If I draw a graph, put our points on there. Okay? And if I drew a line, a linear function or linear equation, as you see the line hit the y-axis right there, and the line hit the x-axis right there, the line intercepted the y-axis. So that point is the y-intercept. When you are going to identify the y-intercept, the coordinate pair or ordered pair for y will always be a numeral. For x, it'll always be 0. When you're trying to identify the x-intercept in ordered pair fashion, your x will always be a numeral. Your y will always be a 0. So intercepts simply cross the x and y axis. Okay? So if you're trying to define y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. X-intercept is where the x crosses, or excuse me, where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay? Now we got that out of the way. Okay? Slope determines the steepness of a line. How steep is it? So think about a hill. That line went through the y-axis and went through the x-axis. If I look from left to right, what's happening to this line? Well, Mr. Gray is going down. So that means this line or this linear equation has a negative slope. When you think about slope, think about uphill and downhill. Looks like I'm going to ride downhill, so that puts me at a negative slope. If I drew another line going this way, when I look from left to right, I'm going uphill. So that's a positive slope. Okay? So when you think about slope, think about a hill. Sometimes you can have no slope. It's going straight across. Or like this, vertical lines. So horizontal and vertical lines have no slope. And you'll see that as we go further into the lesson. Today I'm just going to talk about slope. We just want to understand what slope is. Understanding slope. As I mentioned before, slope determines or describes the steepness of a line. And I told you when you think about slope, think about a hill. Okay? Slope is always written as a fraction. So let's calculate slope using points from the Cartesian plane. But we also call them ordered pairs. Okay? Now, to begin calculating slope, we need to first identify some steps. Okay, so step 1 is to identify 2 points from your graph. Or from your data set. Let's say that from your data set. So say we're going to use points, and I'm going to make them small, 2, 2, and 0, 9. Okay? 2, write your formula for slope. Okay? So slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You're probably wondering, where did those subscripts from? Subscripts are numbers that sit below letters. Okay? I'll show you how to name these points. We'll call this one point 1. We'll call this one point 2. We know this 2 is our x, and that's our y. This is our x, that's our y. So since this is point 1, this is x1. Since this is point 1, that's y1. Since this is point 2, this is x2. Since this is point 2, this is y2. So now, you substitute the given values into the formula. Okay? M equals y2. What number is y2? 9. What number is y1? 2. What number is x2? 0. What number is x1? 2. So 9 minus 2 is 7. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So my slope is negative 7 over 2. Since I see a negative fraction, I can tell whether my slope is positive, negative, or no slope. Since there's a negative present, it's a negative slope.